Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. So when analyzing the price of any cryptocurrency, it's important to see where we've come in order to get a better idea of where we could be going. This is true for anything. This is true for Bitcoin, XRP, any cryptocurrency. Even when you're trading stocks on the stock market, experienced traders will always look at price history and chart activity in order to gauge where the trend could continue next. And so we've been fortunate enough to see XRP go to levels below 30 cents, and we've been fortunate enough to see these levels in order to pad our XRP positions by accumulation. And you know, we've seen that 30-cent level. We have seen it dip below 30 cents, but we have seen that 30-cent level as being a great kind of level of support that we could rely on in order to accumulate more XRP. You know, we've seen it go as high as 50 cents, and even back in September 2018, we saw it go as high as 75 cents on the news of the XRapid release. But what has XRP done in the past? Guys, this is XRP on the daily. But what I'm zoomed in on right now is March and April 2017. So we always hear about that time in XRP's history where it went from 0.006 cents all the way to $3.80 approximately in that 1 year time frame, gaining 34,000 approximately, or 38,000, some crazy number like that, percentage increase in 1 year. But over that time frame, guys, XRP saw spikes and then it came back down. And so this is XRP on the daily. This is late March 2017. We saw it trading at under a penny, so 0.006 cents approximately. We saw it jump all the way up to 0.068 cents, which is a significant increase, then came all the way back down, losing about 50% of its value before this huge jump here going all the way up to about 39, roughly 40 cents, and then coming right back down here, hitting solid support of 15 cents. And so this is important because it's good to look at these trends and compare them to trends that are occurring today to understand and to better gauge where strong levels of support will be in the future. And also, more importantly, what kind of events cause these spikes in order for XRP to jump like this in the first place? And could we see something similar down the road that could create the same kind of frenzy, even if it is speculative, to create that same frenzy, and then we would see obviously the price shoot up and then of course come back down once the FOMO subsides. So I dug up a few old articles regarding XRP and I wanted to kind of get down to the bottom of this. I know some of you guys have been in this space for a while, and so if you have more input on these spikes back from early 2017, by all means, please put your 2 cents in the comments section. There may be some things here that I am not covering. So we saw a little spike here. This article was from CoinDesk back on March 27th, 2017. Ripple's price surges to a 4-month high. And so I'm just going to go over some of the key points in these articles. I'm not going to, well, I may read some of them, but ultimately I just want to kind of get the point across. So in statements, Ripple's gateway operator, Rafael Aleo, noted that he believes that the boom is a result of the ongoing gains observed in the broader digital cryptocurrency market, a development that has coincided with new volatility in the Bitcoin market. So he said, I think some of it is part of the tide that came to non-Bitcoin lately. People are educating themselves about other options. So with regard to that, of course, XRP at this time, so he's talking about this spike here, XRP at this time was still quite unknown. People knew what Bitcoin was and people were trading on Bitcoin. And let me just bring up the Bitcoin chart around that same time. So from January 2017 to March, we saw Bitcoin increase 79%. Okay, that's representative here on this chart before it came back down. And as Bitcoin was coming back down from mid to late March, XRP was shooting up. Okay, this is late March. XRP was shooting up to here to early April. So maybe people were taking their money out of Bitcoin, putting it into another cryptocurrency like XRP. Okay, so that could cause some spikage. How about this? Use or speculation. What's driving Ripple's price to all-time highs? And this from April 6th, 2017. So again, around this time, Ripple, or XRP rather, obviously hitting all-time highs at that point of about 7 cents. So again, discussing the fact that there's a lot of work being done in the crypto space. This is around the time Brad Garlinghouse had mentioned we have had a significant rally in XRP prices, but it is reflective of a lot of the work we have done to make Ripple a very compelling solution. So news, perhaps speculative news. Guys, as we know in the last little while, news hasn't really made an impact on XRP. But back in 2017, it was making an impact. He discusses huge network improvements, Another major development that has helped provide tailwinds for XRP price is Bitcoin's ongoing scaling dilemma, according to Garlinghouse. Okay, and also down here, growing credibility. Still, it remains an open question whether this activity amounts to real use for the Ripple platform. Of course, now we know that that is probably not true. Real use for the Ripple platform. We still haven't seen that real world utility kick in. We might be seeing more utility, but it's not the kind of utility that is really driving price. So this was speculation at that time, and to me, this sounds inaccurate. As such, the statements above mark a divide between the startup's view on the market and those avid traders. So some things to think about, and even though these things could have boosted XRP price in the past, and maybe that same type of news won't necessarily boost XRP price in the future, there is something that will boost XRP price. We just don't know what it is yet. Something to think about though. Saw this article here as well, this from May 16th, 2017. So this at a point when XRP had hit essentially this price here, this high of 33 cents, okay, going all the way from 3 cents to 33 cents, essentially doing a 10x in mid 2017. So what was the speculation around that? Ripple pledges to lock up $14 billion in XRP cryptocurrency. So distributed financial technology firm Ripple is on the verge of locking up billions of dollars worth of its native XRP cryptocurrency inside dozens of smart contracts designed to hold value in escrow until a certain time or certain conditions are met. This happening around the time that they announced the news that they were indeed locking up cryptocurrency into escrow. And of course, we've known this now for a couple of years. XRP is in escrow, and some of us believe that, XRP being in escrow is actually suppressing the price. So could this have been FOMO based on the idea that, oh, well, if they're going to be locking up XRP, there's going to be less to buy, and so I need to buy my XRP now so that there is enough left for me to buy, because Ripple will be locking XRP up and will not be releasing it until said times, which of course, as we now know, is 1 billion per month. So a lot of this is all just speculative news, and we've come a long way in the cryptocurrency space and with regards to Ripple and XRP as well. Today, we're not seeing price rise based on this type of very basic news about Ripple's XRP. Okay, we're in a more mature market now. Something that was also mentioned in one of these articles that I almost forgot to tell you about was the fact that 10 more financial institutions joined Ripple's global payments network. So this is when they signed on those 10 major Japanese banks. And of course, that could definitely have an effect on FOMO, speculative trading, buyers getting into the market based on this type of news, which could certainly result in a spike of price of XRP. Well, guys, that's just one side of it. We have seen speculative news still move the price of XRP, namely once we go to the September 2017 in the anticipation of the XRapid release. We saw price rise up to 75 cents all the way from 26 cents, and it went 300% in a matter of days. Then came back down, okay, after all that FOMO washed away. But now, guys, look at what the lowest demand zone is for XRP to base in. After we saw such a huge price rise, now we're starting to see XRP base at about 30, just under 30, I'd say between 25 and 30 cents. That has been a very, very strong level of support for XRP over the last, let's say, 21 months or so, almost 2 years, right? Whereas before we saw XRP price basing. So this is now, these two blue lines indicate the 24 cent to about 26 cent range. Okay, this was the last level of support we saw XRP drop in when it dipped below 30 cents, hovered in this zone, then came back up. And when you rewind back on this chart back to April 2017, you can see that does actually coincide with the high dips that XRP hit before we went parabolic in 2017, in late 2017. So there are price points where people found that they were happy buying down here, okay, and then finally selling at about between, I'd say, I'd put these even higher, up to about 30 cents. But you guys can see that, right? You can see the up, and then when it was trading in here, and of course these lines aren't going to be perfect, but in and around this price point, people decided they had enough. They sold, they bought more down at the 15 cent range, okay, sold again in and around here, 26, 27, up to about 30 cents, sold again, bought down here in the 18, 19 cent range, and then the same thing happened, okay, so the bounce, 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 bounce. You guys can see that, right? It's not just my eyes that are seeing this, right? You guys can see this, right? These are demand zones, or rather these are supply zones. Old supply can equal new demand. And so you fast forward to here, and of course, this is now where we're seeing the new demand, okay? And now these are the bottom zones. These are demand zones. They were supply zones back 2 years ago. Now they're demand zones. So where could we possibly see the lowest level of support for XRP in the future? Well, my guess, guys, after we saw these huge price swings upward over the last year or so, we saw XRP finally in June reach about 50 cents, okay? So that was around this point here, 50 cents. And what I would suggest is this is going to be the new trend, roughly around 50 cents, okay? We saw a lot of support here, a lot of support here, or rather resistance is what I meant to say. And of course here in June 22nd, 2019, we hit 50 cents before dropping back down. Okay, and so all this to hit the point home. Guys, we will see higher XRP prices in the future. We will see rebounds. We will see buying and selling. We are still going to see spec traders in this market. I have a feeling that once we see new highs for XRP, if we do see another crash, we could come down as low as 50 cents. What I'm suggesting to you is when prices are low, cost average down as much as you can in order to help you maximize profits. And so anything above your cost average price will be profit if you can get below 50 cents. I think that's ultimately a really, really great goal. I know I'm below 50 cents. I know a lot of people out there have been buying below 30 cents to cost average down even further. And so what have you guys been doing? I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.